Let's start by reflecting on the sheer oddness of what happened today. Boris Johnson did not resign as Prime Minister, despite all those banners announcing his resignation on your TV screens. He said he would resign. He resigned as Tory leader, which gives him the constitutional status of a man in a suit who lives in central London. He accepted reluctantly that the next Tory leader would become Prime Minister.
I know that there will be many people who are relieved, and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks.
Very BJ. No apologies, nothing on lying, nothing on sex pests. And right now, and over the weekend, and next week, and for most of the summer, the Prime Minister of this country will be Boris Johnson. The same Boris Johnson who had apparently been forced out by Tory MPs. The man in the suit has appointed a new cabinet. He lives at number 10 Downing Street. The man in the suit is going to make a big speech about tax cuts. He'll be calling and probably visiting his new best friend, President Zelensky of Ukraine. He will look like a prime minister, and his government will look like a government. But a real prime minister must have the support of a majority of MPs in the Commons, and this man does not. He is the ghost of a prime minister, and this is the ghost of a government. It can't do much till there's a new Tory leader, someone actually backed by Conservative MPs. How's that going to go? This morning I was talking to MPs who didn't believe Johnson was really going to leave, who thought that somehow he'd use the summer to concoct a cunning plan to stay on. Now, these days, of course, anything is possible, but it's very hard. The timetable for leadership contests is now totally in the hands of the Backbench 1922 committee, Johnson's enemies. However many runners and riders there are, the 22 will run this race hot and hard. So there are just 2 names left in a fortnight when Parliament breaks up for the summer. And then the final 2 make their pitch to Tory members round the country. That takes perhaps most of August. By early September, there will be a new Conservative leader. Boris Johnson gets a final swan song, perhaps at Prime Minister's Questions in the short September parliamentary session, say around September the 7th. The new Tory leader is made PM by the Queen and moves into Downing Street. Boris Johnson doesn't get to barnstorm or appeal directly to the Tory conference, which begins in Birmingham in early October. That is the new leader's big moment. Given that he can't hold back any of that, why does Johnson want to stay on, rather than, as many of his backbenchers hoped, handing over to a caretaker Prime Minister such as Dominic Raab? What his enemies in the party fear is not that he's plotting some kind of sudden coup, but that he's looking further ahead for vindication and revenge. Over the summer, he underlines that he is the champion of tax cuts, Brexit and the Ukraine war. He looms, arms folded, chin jutting, behind the new leader, lurking distractingly in the background, while he or she struggles with strikes and Northern Ireland and inflation and the rest of it. Canada's leader, back in the 1960s, Pierre Trudeau, said that his country's relationship with the United States was like being in bed with an elephant, and that's how it might feel for whichever poor so-and-so replaces Johnson. Not comfy, not restful. And then, perhaps, if that next leader loses the election, Boris Johnson comes storming back, rather as Donald Trump would like to do in the United States. Well, it's what folks with the smarts are saying. You've been warned, and you heard it here first.